We got an email requesting that we show the steps involved in making a clipping path so that you can take an image from Photoshop and have it elsewhere with a transparent background. Now I realize as I'm about to start filming this, I don't really have any other program to put this in to show you, but it's important to note that the purpose of a clipping path is to cut out this other area. So in other words, only the part within our selection will ultimately be visible in our other software like our page layout software. So I've started with a selection already, just made that with my magnetic lasso tool, but you can use any method you want, or you could draw a path specifically with the pen tool. In this case we're going to start with a selection to show you how that would be one option. So again, you select the part you want to be visible. You do not have selected the part you want to be transparent in your other software. Then you go to the Paths palette and use the pop-up menu and choose Make Work Path. It's going to give you a tolerance number. Now if you put the lowest possible number, which is 0.5, that means it's going to try to follow very accurately what you've created in terms of your selection. If you're not entirely happy with your path, you can use the direct selection tool and alter it. You can also add additional points or take some out if not necessary. But in this case we're going to just stick with our work path. And what we need to do to turn this into a clipping path is first of all name our path. So we'll call it, doesn't really matter what we call it, of course, but as long as we know what it is. Now when you name it, that's the same as saving the path information. Now you have to also save the document, but there's another step first. So first of all, we've made the path, then we've named it, then we're going to go back to our pop-up menu. Let's move this over a bit so you can see it better. And we're going to choose clipping path. Now what will happen is by default, it will either come up saying none, or in this case it's already using this path because I had clicked on it. If I had nothing clicked, it would probably come up and say none. But basically the bottom line is in the clipping path dialog box it has to say the name that you have called your path. In terms of flatness, there's a couple of options here. Typically the easiest way is if you leave this blank, that means your output device will determine that, unless your printer specifically requests that you put in some flatness, and that just means how accurately again this path will be created. So we click OK, and then the final step is to save this as a Photoshop EPS file. Now clipping paths also do work as TIFF as well, but generally we like to use EPS because it is a PostScript printing process, this clipping path. So we would go ahead and save that. Let's just save it on our desktop. Go ahead and click OK. Now a couple of important notes. Notice in Photoshop nothing looks any different because the whole point of a clipping path is you don't use it in Photoshop, you would use it elsewhere. So if I had some other software on this brand new machine, I would be able to launch into InDesign or QuarkXPress or PageMaker or Illustrator or something else and show you when I imported this EPS file, all you would see would be cut to this shape, everything else would be transparent. So there you have it, the steps involved in making a clipping path. Hey, this is Dave Cross. Whew, that was a lot of work. I hope you enjoyed that little tip, and we'll see you again next time.